Hello. Hello, hello. It is Junie B. Jones Day. Did you like that I said that this morning?
I did. That made
I'm
me.
like literally emo about graduation.
Yeah, I was thinking about it on my walk to breakfast, and I was like, we should have thrown her a
Oh
graduation
my
party.
gosh.
So.
This is her graduation party. We are gathered here today for Junie B. Jones' graduation party.
Wait. I've got this.
Oh, will mine go at the same time? Like, can two people do it? Mine, no.
Yeah, because it's your screen. You're not holding it there long enough.
Oh, what do you mean? But can we do it at the same time?
Yeah, okay.
No.
We can, but yours isn't going.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Happy graduation, Junie B. Jones. Okay, yeah. It feels like the end, but it's not the end because we're going to first grader. So
We're just getting to the good part.
there's differing opinions on that. Okay. We're going to discuss Junie B. Jones first. Okay. And we also read a nonfiction that I'm really excited to talk about. I almost rated it and then I realized it was today. So this is so silly. OMG.
That's us.
Ruby, did you read the nonfiction, not Junie B. Jones, I would assume? Okay. Let's talk about Junie B. Jones.
Junie B. Jones. Junie B. Jones is a graduation girl.
Yeah, Junie B. Jones is a graduation girl. Okay.
Rating?
Chapter 1.
Girl, you are skipping ahead. You've forgotten how we do this. What do
we
you
have to. Sorry, first day. I'm a little frazzled today. I've been like busy. Okay. What did you rate this one?
I gave it 4 stars.
Samesies. I also give it 4 stars.
It's in a celebratory mood.
Yeah, it felt good. I have given some 5 stars. This didn't feel like that. I also didn't really remember this one.
Yeah,
so I feel like it also didn't contribute to nostalgia. So 4 stars. It was good, cute, funny, made me feel things. Okay, now can we talk about chapter 1?
Well, click on Lizzie's comment first.
I gave this 4 stars. I felt like it was fun and sweet in concept. But as a plot, it wasn't the best. Oh, I actually like the plot, I think. Like the main lesson here, I guess. Okay.
Chapter 1. It's your time to shine, baby.
1. Okay. The first thing I highlighted was on page 1.
I think I know what it was.
I was named after the month of Junie. That's so cute. Should I have another baby in June just to
No.
I literally would name a child Junie. How fast did you say no, I shouldn't have another child?
Very quickly.
Oh my goodness.
Not at this point in time.
Yeah, no. You're correct. But I would use the name Junie.
The record shows. Okay. This is not a quote, but it's just I wrote. So since I listened to the audiobook, I wrote out my notes instead of highlighting things. Yeah. So they were celebrating her 6th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, OMG, she's 6. She's growing up so fast.
I know.
Crying
I
face.
will say time and time again that I appreciate in this series in comparison to Magic Tree House that we do have like good continuation of timeline.
Yeah. She's growing up.
Yeah, like everybody is doing things sequentially.
Yeah.
On her birthday, turning 6, I highlighted that I got 5 entire boxes to open. And good news, none of them was clothes. Because usually I do want my gifts to be clothes these days.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's often like a mark of adulthood where you're I could really use some new clothes that I didn't have to pay for.
I would like socks for Christmas, right?
Yeah. During the birthday party, she was talking about her brother Ollie being there. I think he's 7 months, she said.
Yeah, she did say it.
And she said he did not add much.
Yeah, I didn't highlight that one, but I almost I was like, oh, Martine's gonna get that one.
Yeah.
Okay, then we go to school and we're talking about graduation. And I forget who was talking, one of the other, probably the meanie Jim, boyfriend Jim, whatever, wherever we are this week. He says that first grade won't have this. No, it's the janitor. No, I don't remember. He says that first grade won't have the same kids as room 9 does. And so all of our classmates will be weirdo strangers. I love a good weirdo stranger.
Yeah. Yeah, I can promise that wasn't the janitor because the janitor arrives in chapter 4.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then this one, I put the little crying, almost crying face.
Yeah.
It says, as you go through school, you'll get several diplomas, she said, but this one will be your first. I was feeling feelings.
Yeah.
I was nostalgic for Junie B. Jones's graduation. So proud of her.
It also made me wonder, am I supposed to get a diploma this summer?
Probably.
For my master's?
I would assume yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I haven't gotten an email about it, so we'll see.
An email.
She did. Junie B said, "I will love a diploma. It's not clothes, is it?"
Exactly. The last thing I had in that chapter is they're going to make invitations, and she says, "Yippee!" I said, "I love making invitations, Mrs. On account of that does not even sound like learning." So that's the spirit.
Yeah. And then we go to chapter 2.
Chapter 2, and they're making invitations.
Invitations.
What do you got?
The first thing I said was all of their rhymes are so silly and fit their personalities.
Yeah. I think mine was probably before that.
Okay.
Before that thought, because Mrs. says, just as a reminder, she said, we do not paste glitter in our eyebrows. There was a list, but I stopped at glitter in our eyebrows. All these other things we don't do with craft supplies.
It was like,
and then it says, she looked and looked at me. I squirmed in my seat a little bit because that woman has a memory like a hawk, I tell you.
That actually made me Google what the memory of a hawk is like, because usually the saying is, eyes like a hawk. And I was like, did you get this wrong? But it turns out that hawks actually do have phenomenal memories.
Good job, Junie B.
I do think it was a mistake, but one that ended up working in her favor.
Okay. Lizzie has thoughts. Oh my God, every time I hand out rulers, I make my 9th graders promise to be mature with their rulers with a very similar speech. Cute. Glad they didn't outgrow it by that grade.
No.
From kindergarten to 9th grade. Okay, that's all I had in chapter 2.
Oh, so all of their silly rhymes were at least rhymes. And then Junie B steps up to bat. Roses are red, violets are blue. Graduation is here, and your feet smell like stink.
Yeah.
Iconic.
I think I highlight it when it's repeated in the next chapter. I didn't highlight it that time.
Well, she thought it was such a good one. She couldn't help herself. She had
it was,
but it doesn't have time.
The next chapter was a good one for me. I have a lot in chapter 3.
Same.
Okay. The first thing I highlighted was right away, which is the office is where principal lives.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you have?
So principal says, well, will you look who it is? And she says, well, it looks like me.
That was my next one too. Girlie be funny. The next thing I have is her talking about her speaking improving. Because I do feel like that's a big criticism of this series, is that like Junie B. Jones does like say words incorrectly and phrases incorrectly, and like should that be what kids are learning from? But I think it's good. So what I highlighted says, and guess what else showed improvement? My speaking, that's what. Because I don't say runned anymore, and I don't say thinked, and I don't say throwed. Do you want to hear me say them right? Huh? Do you, principal? I took a big breath. Ran. Thought. Through, I said. And you know what? I was proud of her.
I did say her vocab improving and then a little like face.
Yeah.
I did have something right before that though, because
Okay.
it just
I have
made
something
me
right after that that's directly related.
well, it just made me giggle because she said, "That's because my behavior has shown considerable improvement."
Yes. And she says something about like saying pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah.
So mine directly related to that also is right after she says that she says all those things right. Then she says, "See, I told you. Mother says I am getting a better vocabulary." So then she immediately says something incorrect. Next is where I highlighted the poem that doesn't rhyme because she says roses are red, violets are blue, graduation is here, and your feet smell like stink because principal has her repeat it. So she says, I said, after that, principal kept his eyes closed a real long time and he did not say any words. Then, very slow, he put his head down on his desk and he started to laugh.
You really can't help it when you're
No,
around
there's
kids.
so much that kids say that you know is like naughty, but you can't help but like. So I felt that in the moment.
Yeah. Shortly after that, he's talking about how she shouldn't say that, and she said, "Good news, I've said my last stink."
Yeah, then I got emo because she's saying goodbye to principal.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, only we are not saying goodbye forever. Right, principal? Right? Because next year I will get sent down here too, probably. Or else maybe you and I will see each other on the playground. Right? And so I'm keeping an eye out for when she gets sent to the principal's office in first graders.
Real. I got emotional when he said, "It's been an interesting year getting to know you, Junie B. Jones."
Yeah. All from being scared to get on the school bus to now.
She's so grown up.
She's getting so big. And at the end of that chapter, she says, then I turned back around and I skipped to room 9 my fastest. Because maybe if I hurried, I could still sprinkle glitter on something. And so that was my favorite chapter.
Okay, chapter 4.
Oh, I just highlighted one thing, and it was knowing damn well she was going to get in trouble and not behave. Do you have things in chapter 4?
I have things. The first is how I know that that's where the janitor comes back, because I know we haven't seen Gus in capital T, 2 capital L long TM.
Yeah.
She said at one point they thought they were getting cats and gowns, and she said, "Who doesn't love cats? That's what I would like to know." And I put the little eye emoji at us.
It'd be me. It's me.
Sorry if Pumpkin is watching, or Clementine, or any of our friends.
Love them for you.
And then she opens up the box with her cap and gown in it, and she says, "My cap got run over by a truck, I think."
Yeah. Smush.
And then I just said, why would you give kindergartners white caps and gowns to take care of?
Literally. They shouldn't. Why were they sent home when then they arrive back to school where they all put them on?
Yeah. Didn't make any sense.
Makes no sense. I agree. Yeah, I just highlighted the, I'm going to let you take these home with you today, but please do not play with them on the bus and don't play with them at home either. These caps and gowns are white, okay? And white material gets soiled very easily. Like we all knew at that moment. Bad. Okay, then chapter 5?
Yep.
I highlighted a picture in this one. It appears.
Okay.
Because when that happens, it just says tap to view highlight in the book.
And see, I didn't get to see any of the pictures this time.
I don't remember what this was. Oh, this is actually just one highlight, and it's at the very end of the chapter if you have anything else.
Oh, yeah, I do have other things. Is that your only thing for chapter 5?
I guess so.
Okay, well, my first thing is when they're on the bus, and she's peeking, and she says, "Peeking is just looking with your eyes, but only faster."
Yeah.
She puts it on when she gets home, and she says, "I look like $1 million in this getup," which I don't think is how anybody feels in a graduation cap and gown, but that's fine. I mean, maybe they feel like they spent $1 million on school.
Yeah.
That's it. And then she's giving all these excuses for why what she's doing is not playing. But my favorite one was, falling down is what happens after twirling. It cannot be helped.
Yeah. I agree.
And then at one point she says, "Shoot, I am surrounded."
Cute.
Okay, show us your photo.
I have her talking to her stuffed animals, and Philip Johnny Bob says that he wishes that she would go down there and get her cap and gown so they could all see it. And I highlighted, "After that, I thought and thought. Then I lifted up his softy ear and I whispered, 'Maybe I can.'" And this was the picture.
Cute.
I thought that was cute. And then I highlighted the very first thing in chapter 6 as well. This is what it looks like. Just like I highlighted all of what's happening here. I hardly ever notice the titles of the chapters, but this one I noticed because chapter 6 is titled "Pooped and Thirsty."
That was a good one.
I was like, what's about to happen here? She says, "The next morning, my grandpa Frank Miller came to babysit. I love that babysitter very much because he doesn't even follow the rules. That's why." And I'm like, yeah, sounds like grandparents. Doesn't even follow the rules.
Yeah.
And that's all I have in chapter 6.
Okay, well, I have things. One, what she was eating for breakfast, I believe it was waffles, marshmallows, and cheese curls.
Yeah, not following the rules.
Real. And then I put the little emoji and said, "My face when she says she's gonna go get grape juice."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not good. Grandpa Frank Miller was not paying attention.
It's not.
Not good at all.
Chapter 7?
Yes, I have quite a few in chapter 7 also.
Oh, I only have one.
Oh, second favorite chapter. Okay, I'm curious where yours lies, but the very first thing I highlighted was grape juice can go wrong. And then the panic set in as she notices that the juice has dribbled, and it says, "Then all of a sudden my eyes looked down at my clothes, and what do you know? I saw all the cloth I needed. I quick took it off of me, and I soaked up the driblets." Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Not good.
I just have to say, like, the problem-solving skills of being like, "Oh, no, here's the problem," and not thinking through, like, the consequences of your solution, very good developmentally accurate writing.
Horrifying. Then she realizes juice driblets do not go away, not even if you erase them with your brand new eraser, or if you color them with your new white crayon, or if you brush them with Daddy's new whitening, brightening toothpaste.
That's what my comment was about. I especially got a kick out of the white crayon.
Yeah. She's trying her best around here. Oh, I highlighted the thing I always highlight when it happens in these books. When Grandpa Miller's trying to come in, she says, I quick pushed my graduation gown under my bed. Then I opened my door a teensy crack. "Hello, how are you today?" I said. "I am fine, except I am right in the middle of something, so I would like to get back to it, please." Hello, how are you today?
I think this is the only time she's like gotten away with it though, where he like doesn't.
Oh, yeah, like
realize what
none of them
it is.
noticed until
Yeah, because usually when she's saying that, it's because they're actively like looking at her doing something wrong.
yeah. Caught red-handed, literally.
Yeah.
And then I highlighted at the end that I waved at my Grandpa Miller, very sweet. Well, nice seeing you again, Frank. Goodbye. Okay, chapter 8.
Chapter 8.
I only highlighted something questionable in this chapter.
Oh?
What do you have?
Okay.
Okay.
I just noted that she started calling William Shy William instead of Crybaby William.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, which
That's so
I thought was
sweet.
really sweet. Lucille said, I believe it was talking about something that her Nana says, but that people
Yeah.
enjoy looking at me because I am a feast for their eyes.
That's what I highlighted that was questionable. She says, Nana says that people enjoy looking at me because I am a feast for their eyes.
It did make me laugh.
That seems inappropriate to me.
Yeah, but it did make me laugh. And then Junie B gets I think she gets out her graduation gown and she said that outfit looked spot. Let me try again. I can't even. That outfit looked spottier than I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
I also just realized that my like bathroom fan is running. If you can hear that as like background noise.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Chapter 9?
Yeah, I have a lot in chapter 9. It was probably me being emo.
Probably.
Oh, this surprised me that Mrs. actually tries to save the day and be nice about things, because the first thing I highlighted was everybody realizes that they're at graduation and everybody realizes that her gown has gotten dirty. And it says, Mrs. said I would look darling in that dotty thing because purple is her favorite color, plus grape juice is her favorite kind of drink. And I was just surprised that.
I feel like there have been other instances where she responded well. Like,
I feel like this is an instance where there's no solution to fix it. So you just have to be like, she's gonna have to wear it. So
yeah.
hype her up.
I don't remember if this is like around the same spot, but Junie B said, please don't yell at me because I'm already crying.
Yeah, she did. That's correct order, because Grandpa Miller makes a joke. He says she does look cute, and not only that, but when she goes on the stage, she'll be easy to spot.
Yeah, I wrote, is that a pun?
Cute. Okay, the next thing I have is when she comes out.
Okay.
I looked at those people very shocked. Then my mouth came all the way open because they had dots on their clothes, just like mine. So she comes out and they all say surprise. And they colored on theirs.
I wrote in all caps, Jim's idea to color all of their gowns so she wouldn't be alone.
Oh no, she says, yelling, I think I love these people. That's what I think.
Cute.
And then the rest of the chapter is sad.
Oh, I have a silly thing that Lucille said.
Okay.
They're talking about their different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucille said, because pink brings out the natural blush of my cheeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Then they do the graduation. And Junie B. Jones says, it was the time of our life, I tell you. I felt 1,000,000,000 feet tall up there. And then she says, because we will be friends forever and forever and always and always. And I mean it. I'm not good. That hurt me.
Yeah.
Literally crying. Me literally crying at Junie B. Jones.
Was that your last one?
Yeah.
Okay, because I got emo over Mrs. saying that she was going to miss Junie B.
Oh my goodness. Oh, she's not gonna be friends with them forever.
I mean, she might be friends with some of them forever and ever.
Are you friends with any of them?
I mean,
your kindergarten friends?
Okay, a couple of things. Let's make this clear. One, technically, I'm still friends with Michaela.
Yeah.
And we were in the same kindergarten class. Two, right after kindergarten, I moved across the country.
Mm.
So
we're friends forever and forever.
Most of them I never got to see again, but I will say my kindergarten boyfriend I do follow on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
So
I do not. I don't even really have friends from high school other than Chris. Craziness. So crazy. Also, that makes me emo because my kid just had to leave all of her friends. Okay. She graduated.
she
Good
did.
job, Junie. Okay, then we have a whole nonfiction book to talk about.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm unprepared for this because I probably highlighted a lot.
Yeah, I highlighted
no way that we're gonna
like going over my highlights.
I feel like there's no way to touch on everything.
I found a summary online with key takeaways, and I'm gonna work off of that.
Why is this telling me no annotations found when I highlighted the crap out of this? I'm gonna get mad. I'm trying to sync it because I read it on my Kindle, so I'm wondering if they didn't
yeah,
my Kindle. Luckily, it's right here. What did we rate this?
Well, let's talk about what book we read.
Okay, we read. Oh, my Kindle is dead. I'm unprepared.
We read Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. Popular YouTuber Bailey had never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 5 stars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I liked her. And okay, I can see my highlights if I go to Goodreads.
I wonder if you liked it better than me just because you haven't watched any of his YouTube videos.
I did already film my thoughts for the jokes episode, and I did say that I purposely did not go watch the YouTube videos after learning that there was a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I do feel like it's a whole different approach to it.
Yeah.
I also feel like this was information I currently needed. So it was right book, right time, where sometimes I feel like, especially most of you did not choose to read this at this time. I chose this as the book for us to read. And so if you weren't feeling like you needed this right now, then, if I would have read this at another time where I felt like I was already really killing it, maybe it wouldn't have hit as hard, but I have not been killing it.
It's not true.
Okay,
I'm killing you back, so.
Yeah, okay, well, you get what I'm saying. I needed some of the sentiment here.
Yes.
Oh, I might have clicked the wrong one because they kept moving. Ruby gave it 3 stars, and Lizzie read it in 2024 and gave it 4 stars. I probably needed it more now than last year when I read it. Oh, you guys both read this. Not now. Okay, interesting. At the time I read it, I was feeling very unfulfilled in my job, so some of those parts felt like something. Yeah. Yeah. I'm I don't know how to approach discussing this. I have 18 highlights.
Only 18?
That's what Goodreads says.
You don't want to know how many highlights I had. Probably an uncountable number.
But I'm going to have to at least read them in my head to refresh my thoughts to talk about. Okay, the first sentiment I highlighted was, does success really require suffering? What was success anyway? Was suffering even sustainable? Did I have to trade my health and happiness for, well, anything? Okay, that was like right at the beginning of the book. This was right after I had a mentee B. And I feel like you use this approach towards me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I also was in a negative mood and staying negative. And it says, it showed that when we're in a positive mood, we tend to consider a broader range of actions, be more open to new experiences, and better integrate the information we receive. And I feel like the day before that, I had messaged Martine and was crabby.
I'm pretty sure it was the same day.
And they were trying to say this, and this, and I gave like a no, right now I'm just, you were like, you could do this, and I was like, no, right now I'm mad.
Which is fair and valid. But I was not feeling the bad feelings, so it was easier for me to think out those bigger things. But I do just want to say it was the same day, because I think you changed the conversation to send me a screenshot of that page.
Oops. I mean, there's a lot of other good quotes I'm reading here, but that I don't feel like I need to necessarily say.
Yeah.
Oh, he was talking about like if you treat everything as an experiment and not like having to change your whole life and just like trying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what I highlighted says, suddenly the stakes are lower and suddenly you can afford to play around a little. Like you can just, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Oh, also I highlighted this because I feel like I am this person in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we just hired a new person at work and she pointed that out, how often like somebody will do something and I will like, good job, keep it up, like say stuff like that. She's like, you always say that like you're talking to kids, and I'm like, I don't know, like it's good to let people know that like, good job. And this says, the very act of hearing small positive interventions like you can do it or nearly there can have a remarkable effect on your self-confidence levels.
Yeah, but I do think it's interesting, like, I'm not sure in our culture that it's common to say that to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, we need to hear it from ourselves, too.
Also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So did you guys read this together? Question mark? Okay. Oh, this was so interesting to me. Let me read this first. I do think a lot about that idea of if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And I don't always agree with that, but I do think about it.
I think it depends on the context too, right? Like if I'm deciding whether or not to start a whole ass research project,
yeah,
then like it has to be a hell yes, because it's too much to do if you don't want to do it when you could be doing a research project that you are interested in. So like a couple weeks ago when my professor is like, would you be interested in doing this study? I had to be like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good example. The next thing I have highlighted, I'm pretty far into the book at this point, was the guy who, without telling his job, just created a software that would automate his job.
Yeah.
It just didn't work for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then his job found out. That was crazy. And it stood out, and I thought it was awesome. He should have gotten a raise instead of fired. Or, like, do you think they fired him and kept making people do it themselves? Or do you think they wanted his system?
I don't know.
Right. Like, why are you now paying all these people for something that now a program exists that could do it? AI is bad. Oh, this is a good one. Talking about positive things and negative things with your friends. I highlighted a Swedish proverb says, "A shared joy is a double joy. A shared sorrow is a half sorrow."
Mm.
When one person shares good news with another, both people are happy. And when one person shares something sad with another, the act of sharing takes some of the sadness away.
Yeah.
That was good. I love my friends. This is something I feel like I tell my friends all the time.
Oh.
In a series of papers published in the early 2000s, psychology professor Thomas Gilovich and his co-authors proved time and time again that individuals have a remarkable tendency to overestimate the degree to which others are thinking about or judging them. I feel like that's the advice I give people the most. Like, nobody's thinking about you as much as you think they are. Sorry. Only you are thinking about yourself that much. All of that is the same sentiment that I highlighted there.
For reference, I'm just letting you go through your highlights and process.
And then we'll talk. Sorry.
No, you're good.
They are good. This sentiment also, as Newton recognized, it takes way more energy to get started than it does to keep going. That was shortly after I had spent a whole day cleaning my house, an entire day. And it's true. Like, once you're going, it's like, okay, I just want to finish this.
Yeah.
Then there was the burnout section. I highlighted the examples of the 3 types of burnouts, but we don't need to talk about it.
Well, I thought it was kind of nice that he talked about 3 different kinds, because I feel like people really traditionally think of one.
Well, he was correct.
And I've spent so many years of my life being burnt out, but taking plenty of time off, and why do I still feel terrible?
Right. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on sorry, I keep talking and I need to click on the comments.
You're good.
Okay, here's what Lizzie said. I think this book was very well structured and had a lot of good insights, but as someone who does not feel satisfied with their work life and feels, I mean, hurt, and hopefully it hurt a little, like, hopefully hurt in like a good way, or like oh, maybe this is something I should do something about. I don't know.
I think more to, like, it's easy to say that things should feel good and make choices that make things feel better when you're not in a terrible situation.
Right. Ooh, all that to say, I'm feeling a lot better about my work life at this moment. So I think if I reread this now, I would have a lot of different takeaways. Yeah. The burnout section was tough for me at the time. I was going to say, I think the one that he talked about of like feeling burnt out just because you don't care about what you're doing is like also like there's no passion behind it. So it's just like, ugh. Is probably what you were feeling at the time. And I do think that was a good example that most people wouldn't think of that as burnout, as just being like uninterested. But yeah, I like the videos better. Does he still like actively post?
Yeah.
Okay, I will look at it eventually. Was a quote of my early 2024 self. Yeah. Okay, this I think I'm guilty of. What I highlighted was it's so tempting to think 6 weeks from now my schedule is going to be totally clear, so I'll definitely have time and energy to do this.
Yeah.
And he says you won't. In 6 weeks, your life is gonna be just as busy as it is today. If you wouldn't say yes to something happening tomorrow, you shouldn't say yes to it in a month or more. Because I'm always like, "Oh, this thing's gonna be done then, so then, like, I can sign up and commit myself to this other thing." And then I'm like, "There's so many things. All
Yeah.
the time, so many things." I only have 2 more.
Okay.
He was talking about hobbies, and I thought this was a good sentiment too. It said, "If you want to properly recharge, you need to maintain areas of your life in which personal advancement doesn't feature at all." And I thought that was a good discussion for, like, all of us who have now,
Yeah.
like not that any of us are, like, earning money off of BookTube, but we have made reading a commitment at this
Yeah.
point, and I think that's a good reminder too that, like, you need hobbies that there is, like, no schedule for. Like, we definitely all feel like we have a schedule for BookTube or, like, goals in mind, and it's like, you need something that's not, like, a race against time
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Like, this year,
And
I've implemented the habit of doing something fun every day
Yeah.
that's active and not reading. So it can't just be watching a video because that's not active. It
Yeah.
has to be me doing something that is fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's been really beneficial.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I do for I play games on my phone. And that is what it is, but that's probably my thing.
Yeah. I
It's,
mean,
like,
some
the only
days
thing that I, like to do that is not like, "Oh, I have to do this, that, and the other thing."
I mean, some days my fun thing is a computer game.
Yeah.
Like,
And then he just talked a lot about, goal setting and how, like, when you think of a long-term goal, you also need to think about, like, what you need to do day to day
mhm.
to, like, get to that long-term goal. So the last highlight I had was just, choosing 3 actions for the day ahead will move you a tiny step closer to where you want to be in a year's time. And I feel like I've actively been trying to do a lot of that. Like, what can I do today? What can I do today?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked it, the whole book. I thought it like, there was a lot of almost every section I was like, "Okay, yeah, I needed to hear that."
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting because as I read it, I was curious whether it would be the case that it was something that you really needed to hear right now, or whether you would be more on the stance where Lizzie was when she read it, of like,
Mm,
it's making me mad to hear this. But I do feel like there's at least something to be said of the fact that, like, he starts by framing it with his experience as a doctor when he was kind of stuck in a situation.
mhm,
Like, he's since stopped being a practicing doctor,
yeah,
but, like, there was a point where he just had to keep going, and he had to find ways to have a fun, fulfilling life,
yeah.
even though it was draining.
Yeah, I don't know, I thought, like, the approach and, like, how he presented everything wasn't I need to send this to my sister because remember I read that super bad nonfiction book that was too, like oops, um, like, that was very, like, "You suck, you need to work harder and do better," and I feel like this is the opposite of that, where, like, he is very much like, yes, these are, like, action steps to, like, do things and be productive positively,
Yeah.
but they're, like, very approachable and doable.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, like, when I would read the different, like, experiments, I would never be annoyed in the same way that I usually am by, like, a list of questions or,
Yeah.
like, homework
Yeah.
number. I felt like this was easier than that, and he's also not like, "Do all of these." He was like,
Try
"Try
it.
what you want,"
Yeah.
you know?
No, I thought it was very approachable and that they did seem like things that I probably will think about
Yeah,
when doing things, not just like, "Oh, I'm never gonna, like, be able to actionably do these things you're suggesting." Like
yeah,
the finance book, I felt like, "Okay, I'm never actually gonna sit down and, like, do these things, do these workshops." Like, OMG, I was also peak undiagnosed sleep disorder at the time, and I read this, so it felt like all my time was work, which I hated, and sleep, which I had no control over. What a time. Yeah, like I said like, right when we started talking about this was, like, I feel like it was right book, right time for me, so
Yeah. I did like his first main section was about energizers, which I really like because I feel like when a lot of people talk about productivity, they talk strictly about systems and not like how can you reframe your work so that it energizes you in your life, so that it energizes you, so that productivity does feel good. And I've
Yeah.
been thinking about that like a lot. This past week, I was incredibly productive, and I think a lot of that part of that was because I decided to do my writing in the morning instead of thinking that I'd be able to do it after grading.
Good job.
But the other part was me when I was having trouble getting out of bed in the morning, having a talk with myself as I made my bed, being like, so how are we going to make this thing that we have to do more fun?
Yeah.
That's why I listened to the 3 High School Musical soundtracks while I was grading. It's the only thing that got me started.
Yeah. I was thinking a lot about, because you had finished the book before I had my mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And then I read the book and was like, Martine was using this on me.
Yeah. Well, also just my general psychology, like a lot of these, like the studies that he referenced are good, like psychological studies. So like they're things that I try to implement in my life, but I think the reality is that you can hear things a million times and be like, I should do that. And
he did also talk about like gamifying things. So like Lizzie feeling burnt out at work, like even if this is a thing that you don't necessarily want, like what can you do, right? Like what can you do to make this fun? And I feel like those tendencies in myself are also what got me probably misdiagnosed as OCD, like because I do set like numbers goals, or I do, and like that is satisfying and fun to me, but also like yeah.
Oh, I really appreciated the second section about unblocking. I found it really helpful, particularly for the work that I do, like the writing that I have to do, because he was talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I know that this is something that holds me back, like fear and a lack of clarity and having trouble getting started, but especially like the section on courage. I even in the lab, I've since nobody but me goes in there, actually, I've written on one of the whiteboards a like quote about starting even though you're scared. It's like start with your hand shaking and just like go. And I look at that when I'm having a hard time. And it like I haven't made as much progress on my writing this semester as I'd hoped to. And I know that's because of fear. And so like when I'm afraid, I prioritize other things that I'm like, well, I can definitely address that. And like it's easier to handle than having to be brave and do things. Or like I know that my brain is going to hurt after doing that work. So like I'm scared and I don't want to do it and I don't want to feel that way. So like how can I get clarity on the situation and unblock? So that was helpful for me.
I feel like there's so much that hit for me. I don't know. I feel like this is honestly probably something I will buy and reread. I think my favorite nonfictions we've read are this one and the friendship one.
Yay.
What is that book called? Raina Cohen.
It's the one with the cups on it, right?
Yeah.
The Other Significant Others.
Yeah. Those two are probably my favorites.
Yeah, that's fair.
I need to pick the next. I think we have one more picked, and then I think I need to pick 2 more to get us to the end of. I actually was thinking about it yesterday because the next one, my idea in parentheses for what the nonfiction should be would be about hobbies. Hopefully I can find something.
We'll see.
I have in parentheses hobbies, and I have a in parentheses nature, I think.
Yeah.
If we're not too tired at this point.
Yeah.
So I think that would mean that we were doing nonfiction 2 months in a row.
Yeah. Did we have any other thoughts about this book?
Thank you. I'm going to try to find one. So if you also want to help me find one today, feel free to shoot me a message. I'll probably look right after this since now it's on my mind. About this, not really. I just really liked it.
Okay.
It's something I would recommend to other people. I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, the same with his videos. Like, I feel like there are some productivity experts on YouTube that like I wouldn't recommend to people because I don't know, but he has such like a positive view of it and like a playful view.
Yeah.
That I really appreciate. Instead of just be like, do more all the time.
Yeah. No, that's what I think. This felt so approachable of just like you need to make the things you have to do more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like he came from a perspective of like knowing that productivity is an issue because you don't want to do all these responsibilities.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, next month, first grader at last.
We're reading first graders, but which ones? Let me tell you 1 second here.
I have it up.
Okay, Martine's gonna tell her.
First grader at last.
Mm-hmm.
Boss of Lunch and Toothless Wonder.
I don't know that I have read any of the first graders.
Not even first grader at last?
This. I don't know. I'll tell you if any of them feel familiar as we read them.
Great. I'm so excited.
Have, like the journal. I told you that, which is like came after first graders.
Yeah, because she writes in a journal.
Yeah, I was definitely into Junie B. Jones when the first graders were out, but I don't know.
Dang. No, I'm just a little emo because Toothless Wonder suggests she's gonna lose a tooth.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact, I did lose my first tooth in first grade, and I remember it pretty vividly.
Walking by Thoreau. Probably not, but okay. Did I do that thing I do where it was too forward with the no?
I don't think it was too forward. I think he was honest.
Okay. All right, I liked this month because Junie B. Jones graduated, and I loved the nonfiction. So thanks for doing it with me.
And we did our live show in the month.
I was just looking at that we did these 2 live shows like 3 weeks apart. So yeah, sorry, friends.
Oops.
Okay. Oh, Mabel's crying, and I'm pretty sure I have the door locked. Okay. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next month, hopefully in April as well. Goodbye.